Hello everyone, this is Swapna from the Tech Outlook. In this video, I will explain you the difference between MySQL database and MongoDB database. Before going in detail, I will request to those who haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe it and just click on this bell to get notification of new videos. Please do it. Thank you. So now I will be explaining the difference between MySQL and MongoDB database. MySQL is a relational database, whereas MongoDB is a non-relational database. MySQL belongs to SQL family. SQL is nothing but structured query language, and MySQL belongs to SQL family, whereas MongoDB belongs to NoSQL family. MySQL database has fixed schema. So before inserting records in the table, before deleting records from the table, before updating records from the table, we have to create table which has fixed structure, and according to that structure we insert, update and delete records from the table. That's what it is said, it has fixed schema. Whereas MongoDB does not have fixed schema, it is a schema less. So it is also called as dynamic schema. Runtime user can define or user can decide how many fields to be inserted in the MongoDB database or MongoDB collection. Then MySQL, as it is a relational database, it has entity relationship diagram. We all know that what is entity relationship diagram. It is nothing but pictorial representation of relational database. So it is a relational, that's what ERD, in entity relationship diagram, is drawn in MySQL database. Whereas MongoDB database, as it is a non-relational database, it does not have entity relationship diagram. We cannot draw ERD in MongoDB database as it has a dynamic schema, and there is a no relation between entities. Then the next one is table is created to insert records in MySQL database, whereas collection is created to insert documents. So in MongoDB, when we create table, it is called as collection, and when we insert records, it is called as documents. MySQL database, it has primary key constraints. We all know that primary key is nothing but a unique key, the constraints which can be applied on an attribute which identifies records uniquely. That is called as primary key constraint. Whereas in MongoDB, it does not have primary key constraint. Instead, object ID is system generated ID which is unique to each document. So object ID is created by the system which is unique to each and every document. The next difference is MySQL database stores data in the forms of rows of table as mentioned earlier. So in the table we are having records which is also called as row, and MongoDB database stores data in the form of JSON like document. JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation. So we have data in the form of JSON in MongoDB database. So these are the basic difference between MySQL database and MongoDB database. The next one is terminology. How can we identify the terms which are there in MySQL database and MongoDB database? In MySQL database, we create tables, whereas in MongoDB, we have collections. In MySQL, we have rows or records, whereas here we have documents, which is in the documents are in the form of JSON, JavaScript object notation. In MySQL, we have column or attributes. Here we have fields. So here we have join operations. So whereas here we have embedded documents. In MySQL, we have multi-valued attribute which has multiple values, whereas multiple values can be inserted using array in MongoDB database. In MySQL, we have primary key constraint, whereas here we have object ID which is system generated. So if we talk about the example in MySQL, we can say that student is the table, whereas student is the collection in MongoDB. If we have ID name, address, these three attributes in MySQL, whereas ID, name, address will be fields in MongoDB database. And then the records which we insert in student table, that will be there as a documents in MongoDB. So these are the basic difference and difference between MySQL database and MongoDB database, and the terminologies that are used in MySQL database and MongoDB database. Thank you so much for watching my this video. If you have any query, you can comment it in my comment box. Definitely I will answer for the question. Thank you so much.